My name is J.R. Berry. I have worked here over 30 years. This is truly home. I would rather be last with the correct information than get on TV and tell you something that is wrong in the middle of a breaking news situation. We've been on your side for many, many years. So what does that mean? Well, we are here. We're here to listen. We may not always be able to get the answer or the solution that you're looking for, but we're always willing to listen to the community because, again, this is home. All right, Corey, thank you so much. The trial for 30-year-old Quayshawn Clark started today over in Lexington County. And I believe live on TV, did we just have another earthquake? I believe we just experienced another earthquake. If you can come back to me on camera for just a moment. Again, we just said we had 41 earthquakes recorded in this area, in the Lugoff-Elgin area, since December. Live on TV, just finished talking about those earthquakes. Our entire studio started shaking here. We're not sure what the magnitude of this earthquake is going to be. It lasted for several seconds. The lights here in the studio were also shaking and rattling around. I heard people in the building basically saying, yes, it was another earthquake. So again, another earthquake apparently just hitting here in the Midlands just seconds ago.
We're going to begin with J.R. Berry, who has more on what the judge had to say just before sentencing Roland. J.R.
Yeah, good evening, ladies. Judge Newman telling everyone in the courtroom he's presided over a lot of murder cases over the years, and they usually involve guns. But in this case, he said he had never presided over such a gruesome case where someone was stabbed more than 120 times. He told Nathaniel Roland before sentencing he showed no remorse. He didn't understand why that was the case. He also said the evidence in this case was overwhelming. In fact, he called it an avalanche of evidence. He said if there were 1,000 leads in this case, they all led back to Nathaniel Roland. Take a listen. And you speak of Roland's family here, his mother, with her chance to address the judge today. The first thing she said is, my son didn't do this. And Judge Newman shut her down almost immediately. He was like, ma'am, you could have said this during testimony. There was a time and place for this. You didn't do it. Your son is convicted now. Yes. He did this. He's a convicted murderer. So he shut that mom down real quick, although it didn't stop her from saying once again that she believes her son did not commit this crime. And then later, the father, who recently had a stroke, according to the family, asking the judge for leniency here, but that didn't happen. Right now, Councilwoman Tamika Isaac Devine and Councilman Daniel Rickerman are ready to fight for your vote. A vote that is, both believe they have what it takes to lead the city of Columbia over the next 4 years. And good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm J.R. Berry. I will moderate tonight's debate along with Andy Shane. He's the managing editor for the Post and Courier in Columbia. Before we get to questions, the rules tonight are quite simple. Each candidate will get 90 seconds to answer a question. Then the other candidate will be given 1 minute of rebuttal time. Both will also get 1 minute for opening and closing statements. Darcy, it's been a steady day here in Manning off the Paxville Highway. Steady flow of people coming out to help stuff the bus. We've had a few bicycle donations over the last couple of hours. We've had some pretty big donations from our viewers. We've had small donations from our viewers. Every little bit helps to help those have a Merry Christmas here in 2021. It is a tough year economically for a lot of people out there. Some people don't have jobs, as you know. Some people just now getting back to work. Some people still struggling with the pandemic. That's why today is very important. That is why you should come out here between now and 7:30 tonight to bring us non-perishable food products, new unwrapped toys, or monetary donations, because it will help those in need. We don't get to see the snow angel. Let's see. Can we see that real quick? You're going to lay down and make a snow angel for us on live TV? Here we go. Oh, yeah. Look what you're doing.
You what? I'll do it right now.
You're doing this for your community, Ty.
The inner child is coming out. I am, because I love my community and I love you, JR. So we're just, yeah.
Beautiful. That is awesome.
1 inch of snow.
And good evening. We begin with breaking news tonight as the situation in the Ukraine has escalated. Explosions are being heard in the capital of Ukraine tonight, with NATO saying the Russian attack in Ukraine is now underway. Moments ago, Russian President Vladimir Putin said he had launched a special military operation and that any foreign attempt to interfere with Russian action will lead to, quoting now, consequences they have never seen. Deborah Alfarone begins our coverage tonight. And no doubt, a lot of attention has been generated in Elgin following those earthquakes. But Elgin is also making headlines for a stunning discovery made by a former USC archaeologist and his team of researchers. They found evidence that shows an asteroid or comet exploded over Kershaw County thousands of years ago, causing huge changes to life in that area.
I wanted to come to White Pond because I knew that the mud and the sediments in the pond had a record of climate over the last at least 20 to 30,000 years.
Christopher Moore and his team of researchers believe they found evidence of an extinction theory called the Younger Dryas Impact Hypothesis. The theory suggests an asteroid or comet hit the Earth nearly 13,000 years ago. That evidence, they say, was found at the bottom of White Pond in Elgin.
Well, when you dig down in certain areas, it's going back in time. So you start at the surface and you have the most recent time periods. And as you go down, it's like a time capsule and you're going further back in time. And so we excavated probably about 3 or 4 feet over here in the area that we put in our block units. And at the deepest part of the block, we have artifacts that are 12,000 years old.
Moore says evidence found in the pond sediment suggests an asteroid or comet exploded in the skies above South Carolina. If so, the event would have caused massive wildfires, creating enough smoke to block out the sun for several weeks or months. And it may have been enough to contribute to the extinction of several large animals that roam the earth.
It's possible that we had mastodons. We had herds of mastodons coming here to drink. We could have had herds of bison. That certainly, based on some other work that I've done, is suggestive that we probably had herds of bison, elk, other large animals. The fossil record for that time in South Carolina is also not very good, but we know if you go further back in time, there's all kinds of evidence of mammoth, mastodon, giant ground sloth, saber-toothed cats, you name it, very large animals that all went extinct.
Researchers were also looking for evidence of the Clovis culture. The Clovis were considered to be the earliest Native Americans. Artifacts of the Clovis people are found throughout the United States.
These people were here. They made this very distinctive stone technology, and then they seem to very rapidly change or shift. I'm not saying they go away, but they transition around the beginning of the Younger Dryas, about 12,800 years ago.
And while no evidence of the Clovis people has been found here, Chris tells me they will expand their search in the coming weeks. They hope to find more evidence to support their theory.
It's a highly debated topic, and I think the opinions of archaeologists and geologists vary. It's like when the dinosaur extinction asteroid event, when that evidence was first presented, it was highly controversial, and it took a lot of time and work before it was widely accepted. This is not widely accepted necessarily, but there's plenty of evidence to support an event happening.
And since it happened once, could it happen again?
You hear reports all the time of asteroids that come between us, the Earth, and the Moon, and most of those are fairly small and it wouldn't necessarily do a lot of damage. But there are some out there that are large enough to do significant damage if they were to hit the Earth, and it's just a matter of time before that happens.
Christopher Moore is now with the Department of Natural Resources, but is still involved in that research project out at White Pond. He and his team plan to be back in that area in the coming days. All right, Rachel, thank you so very much. Yeah, Governor McMaster is celebrating tonight after a big victory tonight over Harrison Musselwhite. This is with almost 87% of the precincts reporting. The governor with nearly 83.4% of the vote. Musselwhite with 16.6%. This race was called very early on this evening. McMaster running in November. If he wins in November and serves 4 years, that will give him 10 consecutive years as governor of South Carolina. He would become the longest serving governor in our state's history. All right, Darce, thank you. Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist, Jim Felder, our Democrat strategist tonight. I know early in the evening, Jim, we thought that the Democratic race might be headed to a runoff between Cunningham and McLeod, but that's not the case. Cunningham victorious. And you believe that a little social media spat she got into with Todd Rutherford last week perhaps played a role in this. Explain that. We do begin tonight with the opinion by the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade, returning abortion decisions back to the states. Skylar Henry begins our team coverage.